Hey everyone, Jordan here with 9 to 5 Toys, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Logitech G203 Lightsync gaming mouse. Recently there have been a lot of new technologies coming to gaming mice, like high-speed wireless, optical mouse switches, and sensors with crazy high DPI. The G203 Lightsync though, the latest from Logitech, keeps it really simple by going back to the basics, which also helps to keep the price down. In a familiar, symmetrical 6-button design, the G203 Lightsync doesn't break the mold at all, but it also doesn't break the bank at $40. If it looks familiar, it's because it is very similar to the older G203 Prodigy, just with some newer updates to it. So let's get it plugged in and check it out. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Toys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. The Logitech G203 comes in at $40, which makes it almost the cheapest gaming mouse from Logitech. It's beat only by its predecessor, which is the G203 Prodigy. Prodigy is normally priced at $40, but you can find it for $30 right now. At that price point though, it puts it up against some stiff competition, like the recently released Viper Mini from Razer. That shares the same $40 price point as the G203 Lightsync, but also features an industry-leading lightweight design with the Razer, so I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check out that video as well. Alright, so back to the G203 Lightsync, let's talk about some of the fit and feel with the design of this G203. The tried and true symmetrical design feels familiar with the two side buttons on the left side. While it has a small footprint overall, it feels good in the hand. It is slightly shorter from front to back than the recent Viper Mini from Razer that we talked about, but it's a little bit wider at 62.14 millimeters and shares a similar height. It does feel a little bit small for my hand. I've been using the G703 recently, which is a little bit bigger than this. But that being said, I did still find it comfortable and pretty lightweight as well. At 85 grams, it is pretty lightweight for a gaming mouse, but that's still over 20 grams heavier than the Viper Mini that we were talking about earlier. If you're interested in another really popular lightweight gaming mouse, which seems to be the name of the game recently, you should also check out the Model D from Glorious PC Gaming Race. And I'll put a link to that video review down in the description as well. Logitech doesn't give a name to the sensor on here, but says it's a gaming grade optical sensor with DPI settings from 200 up to 8,000. And it's also sending information from the mouse to your computer 1,000 times per second, which makes it perform really well in my experience. I was playing FPS games like Warzone and Escape from Tarkov, and I felt like this mouse performed really well for fast-paced shooters. All of the switches felt really good in my experience as well. The left and right clicks have a satisfying sound with consistent performance and relatively easy actuation. And we'll do a quick sound test here so you can hear what those sound like. Because the mouse is a little bit smaller than the G703 I've been used to, I actually found myself playing with a more aggressive claw-style hand grip. I think usually I play with kind of a combination between palm and claw, where I'm not, totally flat on there, but I'm also not, a super aggressive pattern. But because this is a little bit shorter, I did find that my palm was brought up a little bit more in the back, which made my fingertips a little bit more aggressive so that I could still, use the scroll wheel and the mouse buttons. But that aggressive stance with my fingertips also led me to have a couple of misfires accidentally. The buttons are easy to press. They feel really good. But because of the way that my hand was positioned, because of the smaller design and the claw type style, I just found myself accidentally hitting the mouse buttons a little more often. I'm sure that after using this mouse for a much longer time and getting more used to it, that wouldn't be an issue for me. But because I have been using the G703, which is a little bit bigger, and I don't have to use the more aggressive claw style finger grip, I just found myself accidentally misclicking on here a few more times. And one of the other main features on here, which its name would imply, is the ability to use the Lightsync RGB to totally dial in what kind of colors you want back here on the back of the mouse. And that's all done within the Logitech G Hub application. The G logo lights up, which is pretty standard across a lot of Logitech gaming mouse, but there's also this nice large line back here, which has multi-zone RGB, so you can do different features where it has, a wave going through and it'll slowly cycle through different colors. And within the G Hub, you can set that to react to other inputs as well. If you wanted to use the audio visualizer or have it sync up with different games to just provide some different lights on there. Also within the Logitech G Hub application, you can obviously change all the sensitivity settings, and you can remap all the buttons to whatever you want those to do. One thing that is kind of interesting is one of the options you can enable is a DPI toggle. Typically the middle button up here in between the two mouse buttons cycles through all the different DPI settings. I think you can have up to 4. But you can also enable a DPI toggle, which you can map to any button that you want. And when you press that, it'll just toggle between 2 different DPIs. So you can make quick adjustments if you're playing an FPS game and, sniping, you want some higher or lower sensitivity or something like that. It's an interesting feature. So overall, wrapping up here, the Logitech G203 Lightsync is just a nice update to the classic G203 Prodigy design. It's not breaking the mold with anything groundbreaking, but it's also not breaking the bank. Like we mentioned earlier, of course, that price point, there are some stiff competition from competitors like the Razer Viper Mini. But if you're a fan of Logitech and are looking for an entry-level gaming mouse that performs well with plenty of RGB lighting, then the G203 Lightsync keeps it simple and performs well. So what do you think of the Logitech G203 Lightsync gaming mouse? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.